Pulezidenti ROBERT KYAGULANYI SENTAMU oba muyite pulezidenti omulonde ayogeddeko eri eggwanga ng'aba annyonnyola ensonga lwaki yafuluma eggwanga era yakikola atya okufuluma, yasobola atya okuyita ku basirikale. Naye mwewulirire.
Mentioned that I ran out of my house and was in hiding to be sure that I communicate to the world. I'm sure if I stayed, I would either be dead or completely tortured. I would not be able to communicate to the world. But ever since I left, I've been able to offer leadership to the forces of change. And indeed, I'm able to communicate to the world like I'm doing now. So if me being able to communicate to the world and expose the atrocities of the Ugandan regime is a publicity stunt, then I don't think that's a bad publicity stunt. General Museveni said that Africa's problem in general, and Uganda in particular, are the leaders that overstay in power. He said this 40 years ago. Unfortunately, 40 years later, he's still in power. When he was pursuing change, he picked up guns, and more than 500,000 Ugandans died in his pursuit of what he could change. Unfortunately, 40 years down the road, we realized that this blood was shed in vain. I'm passionate about change, but I'm also aware that life matters. The difference between us is that he believes in violence, and we don't believe in violence because we have seen what violence does. Violence, besides breeding more violence, it creates a sense of entitlement where those that cause change through violence always feel like they own and they're entitled. And this is what, well, I left my country on a run for my life. As you might have seen that my house was raided, my wife assaulted, and my family members also tortured because there was an order to kill me by the Chief of Defense Forces, who also happens to be the son of Uganda 40-year-old dictator General Yoweri Museveni. So I left my country running for my life. However, I'm also in the United States to try engage with various leaders, various personalities, senators, and fellow Ugandans as well. With the fellow Ugandans and leaders, I'm trying to galvanize the forces of change that are struggling to change our country back home. But with the leaders and administration in Washington, I'm trying to persuade them to change their policy of supporting the dictatorship back home. You will notice that the Ugandan dictatorship, like many other dictatorships in Africa, have their lifeline in Washington and in Europe because they are funded by America and the Western world. So we are trying to cut that life link to ensure that they are not funded to oppress the people of Uganda and Africa. We went into an election which you and all the world saw turned into a military operation. I did not torture the Ugandans. I did not kill the Ugandans. The Ugandan regime killed the Ugandans. The Electoral Commission gave me a security detail, but at the end of the campaign, the entire security detail that was given to me was arrested, and now they are detained just because they did not spy on me. I did not do that. The regime did that. As we speak right now, my personal assistant called Sheriff Naja had his house raided and his wife abducted. The wife of Sheriff Naja is now missing for more than 2 weeks. I did not abduct her. The Ugandan military abducted her. And this happened on camera, and we showed it to the world. Now the blame does not go to me. The blame goes to those that instead that are charged with the duty and mandate of guarding and protecting Ugandans. I was not dying to be president. My desire is to have a free country, to have a country that works for everybody. We have a dictatorship. We have a president that has been in power for 40 years and counting. And that is our urgent fight right now. Our fight is to see democracy in our lifetime. Our fight is to have an election where people have the right to vote, where a vote counts. We are fighting for a vote right now. The regime, the dictatorship in Uganda will fall. There's never a rise and rise of a dictator. No, it is always the rise and fall. And therefore, I can guarantee you that it will never be the rise and rise of General Museveni. No, there was the rise, and now there is the decline. which will ultimately become the fall of General Museveni.
Talking about a decline, what do you mean a decline? Because the last time I checked, the recent elections, show that the President Yoweri Museveni got close to about 70% or so. So what is the decline? Explain to me what the decline about means.
Probably the last time you checked, you did not check right. All right? We have not what was declared by Mr. Byabakama, the electoral commissioner, the head of the electoral commission, who is a Museveni puppet. That is not what he did, what happened. So I'll tell you that what you saw declared was just, a declaration of the military. He was just ordered to declare what was declared. I'll tell you that majority of the members of parliament in our party won on all polling stations in the capital city. I'll give an example of Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, of David Lewis Rubongoya, and others that won on all polling stations, but they were orders from the regime about who should be declared and who should not be declared. So what was declared by the Electoral Commission is completely fake, is completely wrong, and does not in any way reflect the will of the people of Uganda.